So we've got a lot of folks here this morning or this evening. It's just spot on 8:30 in the morning here in Dallas. And that's not April Fool's, that's the real time. And so I want to say hello and welcome to everyone. I'm Dr. Bill Hefley, and with me is Fatima Rad, who's our program manager for the Business Analytics Cohort program. And I know that you have a lot of questions and things you want to know. And I want to just start with one important thing. Congratulations. Yeah, everybody that's on here, unless somebody shared a link with you, is probably somebody who's already been admitted. Is that right, Fatima?
Correct. Everyone has been admitted.
So we've got a lot of new students coming in either summer or fall. And I know there's lots of questions. I know there's things you want to know. And so I'm going to dedicate a lot of time today to answering your questions. There are a couple of things I want to start out with because they're the common kind of questions. And it's because our program's exclusive. We do some things a little bit differently. So one of the most common questions Fatima and I get is, oh, I have a blocker or I have a hold on my account. It says I can't register online. That's right, because the program office, we folks, handle your registration. We have a special billing process for you. And so you're going to always see a couple of holds on your account that say cannot register online and indicate executive education. The executive education may not show yet, but it will when we start enrolling you. And those are what we call positive service indicators. They're positive indicators that say good things for you. And it's an indicator for other offices like the bursar not to worry about billing you and doing things because your billing and invoicing is being handled out of the executive ed area that services the cohort program. So I want to just put that to ease for everybody, because that's the number one question we get is, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. It says there's a problem. Now, there are some other common holds. If you haven't submitted your final transcripts or your final degree certificate, some of you might be finishing your undergraduate degree right now, and you don't have a degree certificate yet, or you don't have a final transcript. That's okay. You can have them sent to UTD, or you can bring them when you arrive in a sealed envelope from the university. Don't open it because then it's not an official document. You can bring an official document with you. You'll also later probably see some other holds. If you're an international student, there's a hold for your medical or your TB test. That's a legal requirement. And so some of those holds are just there until you clear documents or clear a processing step. And you'll be working through those. A lot of folks don't know about the checklist. And I'm going to go, I should have done this already. I'm going to put the International New Student Checklist out in the chat. And I'll tell you what the URL is. It's icp.utdallas.edu/resources/checklist. And this is a super checklist for students to know about, because it starts all the way back about with your pre-arrival with your application. And then it goes through the steps of, okay, do this. And then, if you're an F1 student, apply for your I-20. Now, that's the other question we get a lot of times is Fatima or I will get questions about my I-20. Oh, I wish I could answer those. Fatima heard my sigh and she laughs. The International Scholars and Students Office, ISSO, is the designated school official for anything relating to visas. So they issued the I-20s. They can answer questions about the I-20. there's lots of questions that come up about it because one of the most common ones I get, if anybody has their I-20 yet and you've panicked because your I-20 might say that it's good through, I don't know, expires in 25 or 26. And you're going, oh no, this is a 2-year program, but it says I'm approved for 4 years or something. There's a calculation that the university and ISSO does that establishes kind of the normal, and I'm kind of trying to draw the standard distribution or the normal longest tail of the distribution for a student. And that's the number they put on the I-20. So it doesn't mean your degree is going to take 4 years to finish. It just means you don't have to go back and get a new I-20 or a new visa just because you chose to do an internship and stay a couple of semesters doing an internship, and it's going to take you more than 2 years. That leads me to the very next question that we get all the time. It's a 2-year program. It's really 21 months if you're starting in fall and you go fall, spring, summer, fall, spring. Most people will finish in 21 months because most students will take 9 credits a semester. 9-9 internship, 9-9, they're 36 or done. Does that mean I couldn't do it faster? No, you can, if you can handle the workload, you can take more than 9 units. Some students will take longer. And the biggest reason for taking longer is internships. So I'm thinking about the one young lady that was in my office yesterday, and she's so excited. She has her offer for her summer internship. She's a second semester student. And the first question out of her mouth was, Professor, they've already told me they want me to come back in the fall. She hasn't even started working yet. They love her so much, they want her for summer and they want her for fall. Well, she's probably going to do summer internship and then do reduced course load in the fall and then take courses. And she may take longer than the 21 months because she's postponing with additional internships. We've had some students do 4 semesters of internship. And so if you do 2 semesters before your internship and then 4 semesters of internship, you're on the 3-year plan, not the 2-year plan. And that's totally up to you to plan your schedule. And so that's the other thing that often comes up in questions. I'm going to stop. I think I've hit all of the big ones. Fatima, is there something I've missed that are in like the big 3 or 4?
Not that I can think of, but I see that one of our students has a question. Abhishek?
Okay, that's interesting because I'm not getting, I've got the chat where everybody joined, but I'm not seeing Abhishek's question. So,
Well, he raised his hand. Abhishek?
oh, okay, there
Moguluri?
we go. Abhishek, go ahead and throw your question out for us.
Hi, Bill. Hi, Fatima.
Good morning.
Thanks for the meeting, first of all. So I've been accepted as a fall student in 2022. Correct me if I'm wrong here. The process of getting our I-20 is to complete our checklist, and then I can apply for an I-20, right?
I'm sorry, the auto ricks and the buses behind you made it a little hard.
I believe he asked that he needs to complete the checklist before he can apply for the I-20.
No. If you look at that checklist, it has I-20 is only the 5th step on the list. It has all kinds of things you should do before you arrive and after you arrive on campus. And so, if you're an F1 student, you need to request your I-20, and then once you have your I-20, you can file the first SEVIS form and pay the processing fee. And once you've done that, you can contact your embassy or consulate to schedule a visa interview. So it's really important to get started on that I-20 so you get that back so you can start trying to schedule that visa interview, because that we find is many times the hardest thing to get is the visa interview to get your visa appointment. Your
So
visa
what you're saying
time
is,
to
right,
arrive.
so even before I submit my official documents via an exam rating body such as WES, I can get my I-20 and then I can apply for visa before even doing that, right?
Before doing what?
Submitting my official documents such as degree
Yes,
transcripts.
yes. You should do that. So let's say you don't have your official documents yet. Maybe your bursar or registrar is still closed, or maybe you're graduating in May or June, but you've been admitted. So go ahead and request your I-20, get your visa started so you can get your visa appointment, get your interview, get your visa issued. And then as documents become available, send them to the university, have your school send them to the university, or you can bring them. Now, if you're bringing them, I know this sounds crazy, but I urge you to make sure you have that signed, sealed envelope from your university and carry it in your carry-on. Don't leave it, at the risk of the airline to lose your bag. Oh my gosh, I've flown places. I've flown millions of miles in my career, and I've flown places where my bag went on a holiday to another country from where I was going. And so anything that you're going to carry, make sure you bring with you. And then once you get here, there's a desk over in the Student Services building where you can take and drop off those documents. But I would urge everybody who's been admitted and is going to be attending, start that I-20 process, because this is already end of, oh no, I can't say it's end of March. It's April Fools. It's April 1. So get started now, because you really need to get in that cycle to be able to get that visa issued in time to be here in August.
Also, one more question regarding this. What courses do you prefer? I mean, what courses do you suggest to make our life easy once I get into the university?
What courses to prepare, or what courses in first semester?
No, what courses to get prepared to get into the, I mean, after I get into the university, make my life easier?
Okay, so let's talk about the typical first semester. The typical first semester, and I'll talk about exceptions to that in a minute, but the normal first semester for new students is you're going to probably enroll in 4 courses. You're going to enroll in Buon 6320, which is the database. If you're coming in fall and you're an accounting analytics student, there is a accounting 6321 course that's the accounting database course that you can take. You're going to enroll in, normally if you're data science, you'll enroll in the 6356, the business analytics with R. And you'll also do your Buon 6359, the advanced statistics for data science. So those will be your 3 course credits, three credit courses, 9 credits. And then you're going to register in a 1 credit professional development course. And that course is amazing. I had students in my office yesterday telling me that they have so upped their game and so improved their interviewing and getting access to potential internships for the summer because of the PD course. So that's a 1 credit course. So most first semester students will do those 10 credits. Now, I said there were some exceptions. If your admissions letter says you must complete the OPRE 6303, the quantitative methods course, you will have to do that in your first semester. That's a requirement. And so usually students will say, okay, I'll do my quantitative course, and I'll do stats and Buon with R, business analytics with R, and I'll save database. Or maybe they'll do database and save business analytics with R for second semester. But if your letter says you must complete that prerequisite, it must be done in the first semester. The other common exception, and it's not really that common because of the course, is we do have some students that have taken multiple semesters of database management in their undergraduate program. Maybe they were in an IT or a BCom computer applications program or something of that nature. And you can request a waiver. It is better to start that process before you arrive, because you'll need your course syllabuses and you'll need your transcript and you'll need the waiver request. And many people will look at trying to waive the database management course, Buon 6320. The problem that most students run into is that course covers both relational databases, SQL, and non-relational databases. And many students do not have the non-relational databases in their prior courses. And so the waiver ends up getting denied. But if you, and there's basically one school that I see a lot of applicants coming from that have met that requirement, and it's a university in Pune. So that's another thing that changes the normal pattern for the fall. Fatima?
Dr. Hefley, yes, I would like to add that I'm posting the link to where the waiver request
Perfect.
or the waiver form is found. It's actually done through the advising office, but I can help you with processing that if you need any help.
Yeah, and so that waiver form comes to that. It's an electronic form now, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so that form will come, and then it'll get routed to us, and we'll deal with the appropriate department to get it reviewed. Okay. Abhishek, did that cover your doubts?
It certainly did. Thank you.
Okay, good. Rahul, you've got your hand up.
Hello, Bill. Can you hear me?
We can.
Yeah, so basically I got my I-20 from the university, and at the same time I've applied for my scholarship as well. I haven't heard back from the university, so now I'm looking for my visa slots. So now should it like reflect in my I-20 regarding the scholarship, or can I take my scholarship and my I-20 both together to my visa center?
I don't know what the embassies will say, but I would if the I-20 is issued without the scholarship and the scholarship committee hasn't finished meeting for fall yet, you'll get a separate letter. Now, something you said worries me though, and that's something I should have mentioned for everybody in the beginning, is our scholarship process for the cohort program is different than what the Flex program uses. Flex program, you must apply for scholarship. And if you look at that scholarship page, the instructions on it say, if you're a student in these programs, it gives a list of programs, and it includes Business Analytics Cohort, you are not eligible for that scholarship. Now, that says the Dean's Excellence Scholarship that the Flex program takes part in, you're not eligible for. But if you look on the tuition page on the cohort microsite, under scholarships, it says we're launching something new this spring and fall. And it's the Dean, I think the correct title, Fatima, is Dean's Excellence New Student Scholarship. New Student Cohort
correct.
Scholarship.
That is
Okay.
correct.
And it is equivalent to the Dean's Excellence Scholarship, but it's just for our cohort students, and you are automatically reviewed by the scholarship committee. So we've eliminated, one of the things I said is that Fatima and I provide what we like to think of as a concierge level service. We take care of a lot of things for you. Well, one of the things we do for our cohort students is we say, you don't have to go through an extra application for your scholarship. We automatically review you. There is one really important thing to know, though, and that is that you must have an official GRE score or GMAT score with us to review for the scholarship committee. So if you've only sent us the test taker result, and you have great, great everything else, we won't be able to give you scholarship. Now, the other thing that just came up in conversation here is the different formats of our business analytics program. We have one degree. You get an MS in business analytics. If you're smart and manage your courses correctly, you can also apply to get a graduate certificate in machine learning and AI, and a graduate certificate in business intelligence and data mining. And many times the courses you need for those graduate certificates are part of your overall degree program. But there are 3 formats for the MS Business Analytics. The one that's been here the longest is the Business Analytics Flex program. And it's a full-time on-campus, it's actually full-time or part-time on-campus program. Some courses are taught online, but most are taught on campus. The cohort program is newer and is a little smaller than the Flex right now in terms of student body strength, but it is also on campus, and most courses are face-to-face. We do offer a few online, and some of the onlines are to make it easy for students that are interning. Pastor Sarati, you're okay. Thank you. You muted. Okay. The other program that we have is the online program, and as you might guess, every course is taught online. The online program will not issue an I-20. So there is no I-20, there's no visa, there's no CPT or OPT available for that. Now let's go back to comparing Flex and Cohort. Same courses, same instructors. The differences are the scholarship program that I already mentioned. We make it a little more streamlined for our students. Dollar to dollar, they're about equivalent for the scholarship programs. The Flex program has 10 different tracks of electives you can choose from. Now, you don't declare a track, you don't get a track on your degree, but they're buckets of pre-approved electives. And so Flex has the choice between 10 different buckets of electives they can choose. Cohort only offers 2. The accounting analytics track, and many of our accounting analytics students are also doing a double degree MS accounting cohort. The other track we offer is the data science because it's the most popular track right now. Everybody wants to be a data scientist or a data engineer. Now, that means that we only offer courses from those, primarily courses from those 2 tracks in the cohort. But if you really want one course that maybe isn't even in Buon, but it's some other course in JSOM. I mean, I'm thinking about there might be a course in social responsibility or strategic management if you're interested in analytics for sustainability. Maybe you really want that course. You can go ahead and take that course. You're allowed to take 2 courses in your degree program that are not in the business analytics area. But if you do that, then you are going to be paying the standard UTD Flex tuition for those courses. And that's just something to keep in mind. So the number of electives that are available, the scholarship that's different, and the biggest difference is the concierge level of service where we're doing a lot of the interfacing and taking care of billing and registration, all those things with you. So let's see. So there's a question here about official scores post the admit offer would make me eligible. When the scholarship committee meets, we'll go looking to see if your official scores are here. So if you have official scores and haven't sent them and want to be considered for scholarship, I would have ETS send your GRE scores, or GMAT send your GMAT scores to us as official scores. So we'll be able to do that. And we'll keep reviewing scholarships as we go along. We've already done, Fatima's done the first batch that went out. We're going to do a second batch here shortly, and we'll keep reviewing those as we go. So it's not like you've missed the starting gate yet.
Dr. Hefley,
Go ahead, ma'am.
Oh, we have 2 students with questions. They raised their hands. Parth.
Okay.
Mara.
So go ahead, and then I'll go back over to the chat questions too. So So Parth, go ahead.
Hello, Bill. Am I audible?
You are.
Hello. So I have two questions. The first question is, I am enrolled in the cohort program, data science track, and I also want to pursue, I also want to get the machine learning graduate certificate.
Good.
So I am able to do that, right?
You are.
Because,
Now
okay.
the certificates from a mechanics standpoint work just like another degree. So if you want it, you have to apply to the certificate, and don't wait
Okay.
until your graduating semester, because you have to apply at least one semester in advance.
Okay.
I would recommend you wait until you're enrolled to apply.
Okay.
Because once you're a student, the application fees go away. Mwah, they're gone. So that saves you some money. So if you know you want to do that certificate, once you get enrolled and you're here in the fall, apply for that. And then in your last semester, when you're going to apply for graduation, also apply for graduation from your certificate. It's sort of like asking, Mother, may I have the certificate? Mother, may I please graduate? You know, it's playing that game, but it's one thing you have to remember to do.
Sure. Thank you. My
You're
next
welcome.
question is, My next question is it advisable to enroll on the Handshake portal to apply for a on-campus job before coming actually to Dallas?
So you may not be able to register on Handshake until you're enrolled in courses. Okay. Because it's not just having your net ID, but I believe they also check, are you an enrolled student? But if you're interested in on-campus jobs, I would encourage you, as soon as you're eligible, get registered on Handshake, start looking for those on-campus jobs. Some of them, and I'm going to be very blunt, some of them are like, do you want fries with that? They're food service jobs. Some of them, though, are technical jobs. I have a number of students in my various classes who are working for our IT division. So they're working in identity and access management, or they're working as part of a software development team, or they're doing help desk support, or they're using some of the skills they have from prior work experience. So there's a wide range of jobs available on campus, and the campus environment allows you to work. So if you can land a job in your first year and work, 20 hours a week, that gives you another source of income besides your scholarship or your savings. And it also looks good when you go out to interview for internships, because you've already proven you can work in the US and got hired by the university.
That's right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
On the MSBA cohort microsite, I see that they have mentioned which courses are typically taken by students, the ones you listed out a few minutes ago for the semester one. I think those are not compulsory for us to enroll in. And when does this enrolling process begin, and when is it ideal to start enrolling in the courses?
Okay, Fatima, do you want to talk about the enrollment process?
I can definitely do that.
You're the lead for it, so I'm going to let you talk about it.
So you will have a cannot enroll or cannot register online hold in your account. Do not panic. You will all have it through your career at UTD as long as you stay in the cohort program. I will be enrolling you individually. You will be sending me a form that we'll be sharing with you, hopefully in the next few days, and you will list the courses that you want to enroll in. Of course, it will be reviewed by me and approved, and then I will process it. You will also get an email with the verification or the confirmation that you have been enrolled in the semester. If you change your mind, if you want to change your schedule for whatever reason, do work with me, let me know. But also be aware, be patient, because I'm going to be handling all of you. So it will take time, but you will not miss out on any seats. We have classes for you that are specific for the cohort students. So if you don't get enroll on the very first day, do not panic. But yeah, I will be sending you an online form with all the classes listed, and you will choose from there.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Okay. Sakshi,
Good morning, sir. Hi, Fatima. Am I audible?
you are.
Yes.
Yeah. So I just wanted to ask, we had an orientation where we were told that we cannot work student jobs in our first semester. So just want to make sure, is that applicable for cohort students as well?
Since I don't do student employment, I'm just going to the website here to look. I'm a student. I've not been told that, but like I said, we don't do handshake in the program. Let's look at policies. Student Employment Handbook. Employment eligibility. I don't see anything in the I don't see anything in the student handbook for student employment. It does say, depending on your visa type, you may or may not be eligible to work on campus. So an F1, a normal student visa, may work. If you're an H1B or an H4, you don't have work authorization to work on campus. If you're an F2 dependent, you cannot work on campus. If you're a B1, B2, we've got a problem because you shouldn't be a student with a B1 or B2. That's going to cause you problems later. So I don't see anything, but if you'll shoot me an email, I will double check this with the University Career Center, because I've never heard a restriction on first semester students.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure. I'll send you an email.
There is a restriction, and I want to be very careful. There is a restriction for the RATA or the MSBA cohort student worker positions that we hire as TAs and graders. Those, we will not hire somebody in their first semester because the requirement is that you must have a UT Dallas grade point average. So your grade point average at my favorite school of higher education, Uncle Bill's School of Magical Learning over the motorcycle repair shop, that grade point average doesn't matter for that hiring process. It must be a UTD GPA. So that may be what you've heard, is that TARA, the MSBA student workers that we hire as TARA equivalents, we cannot hire you in your first semester. And I know this past fall, I had something like, oh my gosh, Fatima, I think I had 500 applications. And out of that, probably 400 were new students that weren't even eligible. Yeah, so it's sad. So that may be why you're hearing no first semester, is for some positions there is a requirement. But for a general position, working in an office or working at IT or working in food service or something else, I don't know of anything. I will make a point to, shoot me a note. I'll double check that and then I'll respond back to you.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Oh, excuse me, sir. Sorry
Yeah.
to interrupt. So basically, before I come for my master's program to UTD, I want to ensure that I'm somewhat I come ready for the program. Is there something which you would suggest me to, have a look at it before coming to UTD so that I'll be in pace with the students?
Well, we have people from lots of different backgrounds come to the program. Actually had a student a few years ago that would not let me call him doctor. And he didn't want the rest of the students to know that he was actually a nuclear physics professor. But he was taking his gap year to go back to school and get a business analytics degree. So we have students from lots of different backgrounds. The thing that I always suggest to students is, if you feel you're strong with quantitative skills and statistics, Mathematics, that's good. If you feel you're a little weak, you might want to do some online courses or some refresher. If you've never programmed before, take one of the little online courses that are available, or coding skills courses or something, just to give yourself some experience. So the biggest thing you're going to get there is you're going to throw the fear away. But there really isn't any preparatory school that I think you need to prepare for to arrive.
Oh, thanks a lot, sir. Yeah.
Okay. Parth, you're up next. Did we get your questions?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, I did not. I forgot to put my hand down.
That's okay. The third most commonly phrase heard in Teams these days, besides you're on mute, is that's an old hand. Varun, you've got a question out in the chat. Let me just answer one other thing, and then I'll turn to that, and then let you ask. The question was, are these student worker positions competitive? Yes, because everybody, you're competing with everybody else that applies, so they are competitive. Varun, you'd asked you about summer. The scholarship program grants new student scholarships to students arriving in fall and spring. So if you start in summer, there is no scholarship opportunity. That's just the way that the school gives scholarships to fall and spring starters in the long semester. Summer's a compressed semester, and so we don't give scholarships there. So that was you had asked that out in the chat. Varun, what else did you want to know?
Hi, Dr. Hefley. So I just wanted to know, can we apply to scholarship as current students once we join the program?
No, the scholarship is actually named the New Students Scholarship. So it's awarded to incoming students. Now, I tell everybody that's asking me about scholarships, the university has a list of what we call third-party scholarships. That means third party. It's not you, it's not me, it's somebody else. And I encourage all of my students to go look at that list, to go searching for scholarship opportunities. There's scholarship opportunities from other organizations, from professional groups, from expat groups. I think about somebody I met at an Infinity Lions meeting a couple of years ago, and he was the president of, and I'm going to butcher the name because I can't remember what the formal name of their group was, but they're all medicos from Tamil Nadu. And that's not the name of the group, but it's like they're all NRI doctors from Tamil Nadu, and they give scholarships to support young people. And so, I encourage everybody to look for other scholarships, to look at the on-campus jobs, to look at internships. Some people extend their internships a second or third semester, not because they don't want to go to work or graduate, but because, man, if you're making average about $23 an hour, I've seen some offers this year as high as $60 an hour. And if you're making $60 an hour, working 40 hours a week, and you can stretch that internship an extra semester, that's a lot of money you can use to pay back towards a loan. The other thing that a lot of people do is they look at some of the other funding sources that are not bank loans, but may give you a better way of financing. Sanika or Sanika, you correct me on the pronunciation.
It's Sanika.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I wanted to make sure.
Yeah. So my question is, you just mentioned about the third-party scholarships, and I had applied for Meredith Accelerated Marketing Fellowship.
Mm-hmm.
So I stumbled upon it while applying for a scholarship separately. So is that also for just flex students, or cohort students will also be considered for that?
I'm not familiar with that one, so you'd have to look at what their eligibility requirements are. You know, I had one yesterday
okay.
that came late last night to my mailbox, and it says, this is a scholarship being given by somebody who founded a record company, a recording company, and he'll give $1,000 scholarship to 2 students. But you had to write a 500-word essay about why music is important to the world, and you had to submit it before midnight last night. And I only got the mail late yesterday afternoon, so there's no way that anybody could respond to it. But they have their own unique eligibility requirements, whatever it is. Write an essay, submit, you know, have your mother's third brother's cousin endorse you, whatever their rules are.
Okay. Sure. Thank you.
I'm sorry I didn't have an answer for that one, but you'll have to check on it. Riddy.
Yes.
Hey Bill, hey Fatima. So I had a question. Do we have the restriction of 18 credits to be completed to get into an internship?
Yeah, I'm going to be very careful how I answer that. When are you starting?
Fall 22.
Fall 22. The fall 22 catalog is going to change, and that's the catalog that you will be under. I believe, and I'm waiting for final approval of this, but I believe we're going to go back to the pre-pandemic rule of you must have completed 2 long semesters.
Okay. So there is no way to get into any internship in even if my current company is offering or something. If I didn't complete 18 credits, right?
If you want to try and kill yourself and do 18 credits in the first semester.
No, that's not possible.
Yeah, no. That's that was put in place during pandemic because we had some students that were starting classes online because they couldn't get visas because the embassies were closed. And so they did 1 semester online. I actually had one guy who didn't get his visa and arrive here until his 3rd semester. And so if he arrived in his 3rd semester and the rule said you had to do 2 long semesters before you could do an internship, he would already have finished his program before he could do an internship. And then the immigration rules say you can't extend your program just to do an internship and work. And so he would end up, you know, not being able to get the degree because he hadn't done his internship, but he'd done all his classes. And so we changed the catalog to make a pandemic adjustment that said, when you've completed 18 credits, the next semester, you must do an internship. And then that way it doesn't matter whether the 18 credits were at home or here. But now that we're moving back to a normal state of affairs, we're going back to the original rule of 2 long semesters. Now, that is something, though, that you mentioned that's really great, and I would encourage everybody to think about, is I've had a number of students over the years. I had one in my office yesterday who said, you know, I used to work for XYZ company, big multinational, and I have a chance of getting an internship or getting hired by them in the US. You know, is that a good thing? And it's like, if you like the company and you see career opportunities for you and they like you, that's certainly something I would encourage everybody to look at because they already know you. They have your records. They know you're a good employee. And so that's an option. I think it's fantastic your prior employer wants to hire you again. That's super. It says a lot to you about who you are. Okay, let me jump over to the chat and for a minute, and then I'll come back to 10. Prasuna asked, I've deferred my admit from spring to 22 to fall 22. I've applied to scholarship. When would I be getting decision? So Prasuna, I'm going to go back to what I said before. If you applied to scholarship, you probably applied to the Dean's Excellence Scholarship that says cohort's not eligible for it, and you will not receive an answer from them except maybe a deny. We have not finished our scholarship committee decisions for all the fall admits yet. And so, you know, you may still be getting a decision from the cohort program scholarship later. Okay, Tin, you had a question.
Yeah. Hey, Bill. Hey, Fatima. So I got a couple of questions. So the first question is, what is the batch size for cohort students? The total intake, I mean.
You know, it's really hard to say that until we actually see who arrives. We're at a program strength of about 150 students right now, which is about 20% of flex, but we're growing. And you know, the other difference between flex and cohort that we don't talk about, you know, I don't know if anybody's seen the movie Encanto. We don't talk about Bruno. Well, the other thing we don't talk about is we don't talk about the fact if you sit down carefully and look at the tuition rates for cohort and the tuition rates for flex, we're cheaper. Excuse me, we're not cheaper. We're less expensive. We are the same courses, the same faculty. We're not cheap, but we're less expensive. So that's an important thing to know.
Okay, so out of these 150 students, what are the number of batches that are divided? Like the sections.
Well, if you think about it, it's a 2-year program. You know, you can divide it by 4. There's 4 semesters, right?
No, not in that sense. In the sense of attending classes. So 150 students won't be made. Yeah, exactly.
Our normal class size, if you've been in the building, and I know you probably haven't yet, with the exception of about 3 rooms, none of our rooms hold more than about 55 students. And so you can just about assume that every class is 55 or less, and most of them are going to be probably in the range of 35 to 40 at most.
Okay, that's perfect.
And it also depends on whether it's a core course or an elective, because you know, core courses everybody's going to take. Electives, people are going to start dividing up amongst themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. So my second question is, so since we all know that cohort has its own scholarship application process, right? We don't need to apply for a separate application. So most of we like all of I've talked to many students, so we have no communication on whether we are still eligible or we've been rejected for the scholarship. So is there a way to know that, because we as students are actually waiting for any communication regarding the scholarship?
We have only sent out the first batch of approvals. We haven't finished the scholarship reviews, and so you know, as we keep reviewing, there's still opportunities for students, and so we don't send out rejections. Even if you were in the first batch we reviewed and we say, well, you didn't make the cut this time, we're not going to send you a rejection because you might make the cut later. And so
okay, and how are
we're going to keep sending approvals as scholarships are awarded.
okay, and what is the criteria of these batches for dividing these batches? Is it GRE or is it CGPA?
It's holistic, so it's just like admissions. We look at the whole package, but we must have official test scores.
Yeah, got it. Okay, so my last question is, let's say I get a third-party scholarship worth $1,000 or even more. Will I be eligible for in-state tuition?
Cohort students are not eligible for in-state tuition unless you are a resident. And the registrar has a residency office that determines whether or not you're a legal resident of the state of Texas. And that's the same thing for flex students. You don't get in-state unless you're a resident of Texas.
All right, perfect. Thanks, Bill.
Kirk, you're up next.
This is my time to shine. Howdy, y'all. So I had a question. I came in under the data the data track, the data science track, and I was wondering how we could transition to the accounting track. Do I have to reapply?
No, just send us an email.
Awesome. Would someone, what email would that be?
The best email is MSBUAN cohort at utdallas.edu. And that's the standard email for everything for the program. And
awesome.
One of us will read that and respond to it. I'm sorry, I just made a typo. I'm trying to type and talk at the same time, and I haven't had enough coffee yet. There's no comma in the email address. Please forgive me.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
And then Anaga has a related question. I've been in Texas for the last 3 years. Am I eligible for in-state tuition? So I'm going to go back to the website and look for the residency. There's a residency questionnaire that you have to fill out. So I'm just going to post this out in the chat for about residency. This is the this tells you all about completing. So if you've graduated from high school in Texas, maintained a residence in Texas for 36 months before, or established a domicile in Texas no less than 12 months before the date you enroll, or a dependent whose parent established domicile in Texas not less than 12 months before. International students eligible to establish domicile in Texas may also qualify for residency status, and it tells you where to see. It also tells you how to fill out the core questions, the residency core questions form to send into them. So this is done by an office in the registrar to see if you've met the legal requirements for residency, because we are a state institution and we have to comply with the state laws. There is no separate, Kirk, there is no separate GRE number for the program. You just send it to UT Dallas, and you can find that number under the apply, the instructions for apply. And Fatima just posted out there, 6897. Okay.
I'll
And
post the link as well.
Yeah, good. Amruta says, I sent my scores on November 24th. That's sufficient for what? I'm not sure. I'm thinking you mean scholarship. We can check to see if we have your scores, Amruta. Okay, let's go back to the chat. We've got some other hands up. Kirk, did that answer your question, sir?
Yes, that did. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome. Mrunali.
Oh, hey, Bill. How are you?
Good. You?
I'm great. Hi, Fatima, ma'am.
Hi there. Good evening.
Hey, so most of my questions have been answered already, but I have this one question that about the enrollment that Fatima just said, that the options would be, I mean, after we fill the form, our profiles would be previewed again, if I'm not wrong.
I'm sorry, you were asking about enrollment or scholarship?
Enrollment for classes.
Okay, so enrollment, you're gonna complete the enrollment forms. There's also some questions about enrollment and payment you'll have to fill out, and that'll come into us, and then we will process you for enrolling in the courses. If there's any questions about it, Fatima or I will reach out to you, and then once you're enrolled, one of us will send you an email confirming these are the courses you're enrolled in.
Okay, that's great.
Okay.
Thank you so much for answering.
We're going to be doing that for summer courses starting shortly. Fall will be delayed a little bit.
Okay, thank you so much.
Right now. We'll get past summer before we do fall registration.
That will make sense, yes. Okay, that was my question. Thank you so much for answering.
Krishna, you're next.
Hey, Bill and Fatima. I hope you people are doing fine.
If I was doing any better, I don't deserve it.
Yeah. So I have two questions in my mind. The first question, I believe it's applicable to Fatima. I got my admit on March 4th this year, and I sent my GRE scores on March 29th. I hope that's not a problem for me during the consideration of scholarship for my application, right?
It should not be any, no.
Because to
If
be
you want-
honest, this question, yeah, sorry.
I was going to say, send me an email so I can make sure that we have received the scores, because I know that there has been a little bit of a delay. But you are
Yeah.
welcome to send me an email and I can check on that.
Sure. This question comes out of concern because I also wanted to know the duration of the status of my scholarship, because here in India, there's a surge for booking slots of visa. And the sooner I get my scholarship status, the sooner I can apply my I-20, the sooner I can apply for my visa so that it can be a clean process. So that was my concern as to whether how much time it could take for the decision.
My advice would be to go for your I-20 now, and scholarship may follow. And as somebody asked earlier, if by the time you get your visa appointment, you have your I-20 and you have a separate letter that's arrived after the I-20 was issued showing scholarship, you can show that to the visa interviewer. But I would not wait on starting that visa process.
Sure, thank you. And my second and last question is, I forgive me if this question was already raised and answered. I joined 10 minutes late, but the question is, why are cohort students not eligible to apply for TA/RA jobs in the university? I just wanted to know.
So it's not that you're not eligible to apply for them, but the cohort program doesn't hire under the TARA label. We hire student workers who are graders for our courses, and the total compensation package for them is structured differently, but it's functionally equivalent to a TARA. So one of the important things that just changed on campus, and you may not have even heard this yet, is starting in the fall, a TARA is going to receive a waiver of their student health insurance fee. So one of the changes that we're making for the MSBA cohort students that we're hiring as student workers, as graders, is we're going to give them a scholarship equivalent to that amount, as long as they're not on scholarship. So in your first 2 semesters, when you don't have that GPA yet, and you're not focusing on trying to get that TARA job, you've got your existing scholarship. Or if you don't have scholarship and you're in your second semester, you would be eligible for that kind of a top up. And that's a big change that we've just made, because the university made it. We had to do it in a different way because of the legal distinctions between the cohort and the campus programs.
Oh, that's great news. Thank you for answering my
Yeah.
question. And you two people have
like
been a great host.
Semester.
Yeah, thank you so much. You people have been a great host.
Sorry to interrupt. So there is something which is equivalent to RA or RA/TA position, is it?
There is.
Okay.
We hire, when you get into Handshake, you'll see a job called MSBA student worker. We can't call them TA or RA, but they're a functional equivalent to that.
Okay.
And there's just a bunch of legal reasons that nobody wants to know why we can't do that. So just trust me. And that's not rules. That's you don't want to go there.
Okay. So we'll be applying for that, right? All of us can apply after
apply for that. And if you receive it and you're not receiving scholarship, you will receive an additional scholarship award equivalent to the difference between in-state and out-of-state tuition. We cannot call it an in-state waiver, but that's what it is functionally. And you'll receive a scholarship amount equivalent to the student health insurance fee for that semester. So that could be about a $4,000. It's almost $4,000 in addition to your hourly wage that you would receive.
Okay.
So it's functionally equivalent to what everybody talks about when they say, I want the in-state waiver as a TA.
Oh, got it, Bill. Thank you so much.
We just have to do it in a different way. Because we're
okay,
special.
understood. It's just that title, we can't call it as RA or TA. That's it.
Right, right.
Okay.
Now, what you put on your resume is between you and your God.
Sure, sure. That's good.
All right. Srivardini. Sri, are you there?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Am I audible?
You are.
Yes.
Hi, Bill. So sorry. So I was, my question is similar to the concern that Krishna brought up with respect to like the difference in the scholarship timeline versus the I-20. So would it be any problem with the embassy or at the visa interview if suppose the I-20 precedes the scholarship letter, so to speak?
We don't deal with the visa issues in the program. You could ask ISSO that question, but my understanding is that's not an issue. But if you do have the scholarship letter, you can. I think I've heard them tell students before just to take that letter with you for your interview.
Okay. Yeah,
But
that
if you
is my
check,
I'm basically trying to get the process going, but
Yeah.
I am sort of hesitant because I'm not sure what is the right sequence of events.
If you ever have a question about that, ISSO Perspective is the email address, or you can send an iComment request to them. Log on to their iComment application and send to ISSO a request to double check. Okay, we don't deal with the visas here in the program. The ISSO does that.
Right.
Lakita asked about is GRE score necessary to apply for on-campus student worker positions. Each position establishes their own eligibility requirements, but in general, I've never seen a GRE score. Okay, let's see. Who's up next? It must be Gary.
Hi, Bill and Fatima. I'm audible? Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes.
Yeah. So I have a couple of questions here. Firstly, I just wanted to know that how and when should we attend the graduate student orientation and the international student orientation, which were like mentioned in the next steps after admission mail that I had received.
Yeah, so you're going to get emails telling you about when those events are. International student orientation. I don't know how they're doing fall yet. They used to be all in person, and then they switched to you had an online option. I don't know how they're doing fall, but follow the instructions you get and the dates for those. And that's really important because some people plan their arrival to be here, the night before classes start. And that's probably too late to arrive. You need to be here a little bit before the semester starts so you can do your orientation. You need to get your TB test, which takes 3 days to read, completed before you can attend classes. You need to do the international student orientation. So I always urge people you're allowed to arrive up to 30 days in advance. I suggest people try to arrive at least a week or 10 days earlier than the first day of classes to get all of those things done.
Okay. And means when we will attend those orientation, the questions regarding the pre-arrival modules that we have to complete, everything will be shared in that orientation itself? Because I came across this information in the site of International Student Orientation. So.
Right. And so there are pre-arrival modules that you have to complete pre-arriving. So, do those before you come.
Okay. So they will be available on the learning portal, right?
I don't know how they deliver those because that, again, that's ISSO. So look at their site for instructions and read the emails from them. They are super about sending emails. One of the things that I always have I emphasized it enough? Always tell my students is please read the emails that the various offices send to you. Because if ISSO is sending you something or we're sending you something, it's really important you see it and take heed of it. We don't like to flood your mailbox, but if we're sending you something, there's a reason.
Yes, I understand that, obviously. And one more last thing. Just do correct me if my understanding is wrong regarding the enrollment and the registration process. So, like, I can see in the academic calendar of fall 22 that the web registration started on 20th March. And on the Galaxy portal, the Orion one, there are some enrollment appointments are open.
Okay,
so,
those don't apply to us.
That doesn't apply to us? Okay.
That doesn't apply to us. So that's why we said we handle our registration differently. Fatima will reach out to you with registration details and you'll register with her and we'll take care of getting you into Orion and doing all of the grunge work.
Okay, yeah. Thank you so much.
That's why we say it's kind of like the concierge service. In one of my slide decks, I have the picture of the little waiter carrying a tray. You know, it's like we do the heavy lifting for you.
Thank you so much, Bill. A lot of my questions were clear. Thank you.
Good. Runalini.
Hey, hi, Bill.
Hi.
So I've been doing research for a year now, and I just wanted to know if there are any research opportunities for MSBA students. That's the first question I have.
There's so many different opportunities. I've had students win research grants to do research projects. We have students that work on projects with faculty. There's students that are in competitions and doing things. There's just so many opportunities on this campus. We have just for student activities, there's over 60 student organizations in JSOM. There's over 300 on campus.
Oh my God, I can't wait to be on campus.
You know, and you know, some of them you might go, well, they're like, you know, it's like, well, they're like competing organizations, if you will. So there's you know, ISA, Indian Students Association. There's BSO, the Bangladeshi Student Organization. There's a K-pop club. There's different religious groups. There's dance groups. There's music groups. There's just esports, if you're into esports. I mean, there's just so many things going on this campus that are both, you know, ways for you to get involved. Some of the consulting clubs and some of the groups do projects with NGOs or for working with companies to get experience and do charitable projects, research activities. There's just so much going on here. Sometimes I feel like I have to tell students, remember, the reason you came was not all this other, but you got to come to class too.
That sounds like me. But another question that I had was, do we have to stick to the professors that we have, or can we go to other professors as well?
For research activities?
Yes.
Yeah, no, go talk to any professor. You're a student in the school, go introduce yourself to a faculty member, make an appointment, you stop by and see them, talk to them. You know, that's totally driven by, you know, your get up and go.
That sounds great. I cannot wait to be on campus already.
We're waiting for you.
Thank you so much. So that was my question, yeah.
Super. Let me see. I'm going to jump back to the webinar chat. Yeah, Fatima made a response to a question from Ashok that says, you know, the professional development course, if you look at the typical program, first semester students will always complete the MAS 6102 professional development course in your first semester. The only exception to that may be summer students. because that course is offered fall and spring. So if you're arriving in summer, and summer's that compressed schedule where you typically are only doing 6 credits instead of 9 to be a full-time student, your professional development will be in your fall semester. And I'm just going back through career outcomes. What are they? They're good. They're really good. So you can look at the, we haven't posted career outcomes on the micro site yet. We've got them combined over on the Flex program side with career outcomes, and you can look at some of where they go there. Data from last year was like 90+% placed within, the first increment of time after graduation. And I think the starting salaries were close to 80 or 90,000. I mean, it was good numbers. Okay, so there's some questions about GRE scores. If you want to send your official GRE scores, you'll have to request ETS send them to UT Dallas, and Fatima had posted the code for that out in the chat. I think it's 6897.
7. Correct.
697, University of Texas, Dallas. You don't have to send it to the department, just send it to the university, and they will, it's all centralized, so they will add it to your application folder and we can see them. I'm going back through the chat, and I think we can, Sanjay wants to know about flexing. You can, but there's also the question about why would you want to? And sometimes, yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, if you get a scholarship, the scholarship is non-transferable, so you will lose it.
That's
an
important consideration. Keep that in mind. And also, you're going to be paying more tuition, so that's something else to keep in mind. And the reason some students say, I want to switch to Flex, is because I really want to take one elective that isn't offered in our tracks. Well, you can do that in the cohort program. You can take an elective that is a BUON elective that we may not be offering in the program because you might be the only person in the cohort who wants it. And you'll have to work with Fatima and I to get registered for that elective, and then you will pay the higher Flex tuition for that course. And so that semester you'll get a bill from us for the cohort, and then you'll get a bill from the bursar for your extra elective. But that flexibility you already have, and the catalog, if you look at the catalog says that you're allowed to have 2 master's level courses that are not in the BUON electives. So you can take, maybe you want a strategic management and an HR course. You can pick those 2, but since they're not part of the cohort program, you would pay the Flex tuition for them. Okay, it looks like let's see, Merlini, is that an old hand or a new hand?
I'm sorry, that's got to be an old hand. I will just.
Okay, no, that's fine. Shashank.
Hey, Bill. Hope you're doing well. So I was just going through, the course catalog that you just mentioned, and I think there's a page which displays, how the course structure could look for a student throughout the course of his degree. But so what I noticed was, in the, let's say the technical aspect of it, in the programming languages that were mentioned. So that was all the courses, used R as the primary programming language. Is that like set in stone? Or, because a lot of us learn Python here, right? So with respect to analytics.
Basically, before you're done, across the set of courses, you will probably have exposure to R, to Python, and to SAS. You may also get, depending on the electives you take, you may get exposure to Tableau or Power BI or some of the big data tools. But programming languages, typically students will leave with, 2 or 3 that they've completed. Now, here's a bonus that most people don't know. LinkedIn Learning Data Camp and Coursera, all of those are things that we give our students access to. And so some students say, well, I want to go take an extra certification or an extra course in this. And you can do that. The LinkedIn Learning ones are available through the library at no cost to any enrolled student. And so, I have students who've said, I want to take a module on this. And they go out and they get that module, and then they're posting it on their profile saying, hey, I've taken a module on, advanced whatever it is, underwater basket weaving or whatever it was they chose to study. And those are all great tools that are available to you as a bonus kind of for being here.
Okay. Also, and just to follow up on that, so in year 2, I noticed, there's some opportunities to do internships, right? So do they substitute for taking actual courses, in terms of credits? Like, does like an internship, is that like a substitute?
Oh, that's a really good question. We haven't talked about internships. I'm going to do that at 11 o'clock with our existing students. So let me just give you the quick version. You must do an internship to complete your degree. That's the catalog requirement. Now, when you get that internship offer, let's say maybe, Amazon made you an offer and you're going to go be an intern for Amazon. You're going to get your job description, your offer letter, and upload it into the student information system, Orion, and you're going to request that internship. Now, you're going to also request which internship course you want. You can do your first internship for 0 credits. Now, there's pluses and minuses to 0 credits. The plus is, how much tuition do you pay for 0 credits? 0. So that's inexpensive. The minus is, how many credits do you get for a 0 credit course? None. That's the minus. But you can do your first internship for 0 credits. And then you still have 3 possible credits of internship left. So let's say Amazon likes you and they want to extend you. You can then the next semester request a 1 credit internship. So you can do up to 3 credits of internship in the program. And when you register for that, you request approval of the internship. We check, as a university, we check to make sure it's a real company. We check to make sure it's aligned with your degree program, because if you're an international student, that's a CPT requirement, And the example I like to use is, you might know I love coffee. So if you came to me and said, I have an internship to work for Coffee Day as a barista, I would reject the internship request because that's not analytics. If you came to me and said, I'm going to go to work for Coffee Day to do analytics of customer marketing and retention and loyalty data, I'd go, good on you, do it, and we'll approve that. So the internships, you can fold into your program and plan them for the number of credits that you want to be able to take for that internship. Does that help?
Yes, it does. Thank you so much.
Okay, I'm going to jump back to the chat. Can I do an internship right after the first semester? Tin, if you're arriving in fall and you're an international student, the internship requires that you complete 2 semesters, 2 long semesters, so a fall and a spring. If you're a domestic student, the requirement is 12 credits be completed. And you choose whether you do 0 credit or 1, 2, or 3 credit. You also asked the question about why did we introduce this weird concept of flex and cohort? Well, we had a existing cohort program for MS Accounting. And what we found was that a lot of our MS Accounting cohort students also wanted to do the double degree. So we originally created the cohort program just with the accounting analytics track as an add-on for them. And then when I took over the program and we launched, I said, there's a tremendous opportunity here to help students along. And we opened up the data science track. And so that's kind of why we did it. Is it was driven by a specific market need to support our existing students, and we saw a great way to help other students get into the cohort program and do the data science track. And so we opened up the parallel programs. The way they're structured, there's some differences between them, and we offer kind of as I said, a concierge service. We provide a little more care and support. We have, I mentioned RAs and TAs earlier, but every semester we have some RATA student support that are peer tutors that we make available for our students. So there's tutors available that they can reach out to, and all of our students participate or can participate in our Business Analytics Leadership Council, which spans all 3 programs. And so we're just totally integrated with the school. It's just you're in this program or that program. Parth, you've got your hand up.
Yes. Hello. What is the best way to connect with current MSBA cohort data science track students? I just want to speak to someone who is currently in their 2nd semester.
You can, I mean, probably the best thing is shoot me an email or shoot Buon Cohort an email, and we can, if you'll give us permission to share your email address, we can blast it out to existing students and ask if somebody would be willing to talk with you.
Okay, that's great. I'll do that.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
I believe Parth has his hand up.
No.
Nope.
We just answered his question about connecting with students. I think that was the last question. Any other questions from folks? We're coming close to the end of our time. We've got this block scheduled for an hour and a half. I'm going back through the chat. I think we've answered a lot of things. The other thing that people asked about was scholarship for summer, and we said we only grant scholarships in fall and spring. So if you are, and I'll say this for 2 reasons. One is if you want to be considered for scholarship and you're a summer admit, or if you find you're going to be delayed getting a visa appointment, it would be important for you to do a deferral, request a deferral before summer starts, before you enroll in classes for summer, to just go ahead and make a deferral request, and we'll automatically move you over to fall. And that's something I cannot emphasize enough. If you're having trouble getting that visa appointment and it looks like you won't get it in time, protect your admission by just going ahead and deferring, because you can defer up to a year, and you can defer once. So if you know you're not going to get an appointment until June 1st, go ahead and defer till fall, and then that protects your admission.
I posted the link to where the deferment form is found. If you have questions, just let us know. We'll be happy to assist you with any of them.
Super. Okay. I saw a hand go up and then it went down. Did I answer that question already? Wow, I'm a mind reader. I didn't know that. So I want to thank you all for being here today. If you have other questions, the address that Fatima and I have shared out in the chat, the MS Buon, B-U-A-N cohort at UT Dallas, is the best address to reach the office, and one of us will get back with you. And we love to hear from you, answer questions for you, help you along the way. And we look forward to seeing all of you either in summer or fall. It's great to get to meet some of you today.
Yes,
it's not
I'm glad.
a name on an application.
I'm glad that we have a good crowd today. It's good to see all of your names on there. And those who have reached out with questions, thank you for submitting those. And thank you for your patience when we've been exchanging emails.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We try our very best to help everybody and keep things moving for you. And it's part of what we love doing here. So look forward to seeing you all soon.
Yes. Talk to you all soon.